This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code SOCRATES at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pornian Bakery. If you're located in the Pornian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pornian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. So I was asking if you watched White Lotus right before we started, and the thing that I wanted to bring, we were only on episode 1, but do you remember the opening scene like in the first episode 1? Yeah, episode 1. And then the two people were talking on, the two people that worked there from Thailand, they were talking about traveling. Do you remember that at all?
I mean, it was many weeks ago. I know who the two people you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the girl and the guy that worked there, and then she was talking to some thugs or something, and the guy was like, "Oh, you shouldn't be talking to those thugs, whatever." And then she's like, "Well, at least they get to travel." And then the guy was like, "Oh, I'm still in contact with that guy from Europe, whatever. We still chat." And that was the first time I had ever seen someone from another country depicted in that way, where they're having that kind of conversation, and it blew our minds. Not so you and I, our parents are from a different country, so they're immigrants, right? And it that was kind of drilled into us that oh, it's better here.
Mm-hmm.
You have more options, the West is the best, right? And you're why, and then because we have so many struggles, et cetera, and then even Tara, from her perspective, it's why would anyone want to come here, because you'd leave that place and then you'd come here, but then you'd have less income and you're struggling still, so it makes no sense. And then when we saw that, it was just wait, we get to travel, bro. When we go to these resorts or whatever, or you go to these different places around the world, you're we get to visit it, but they are literally there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not moving. You know what I'm saying? And then it prompted us to check out the world income average.
Mm-hmm.
So we're okay, that's kind of weird that nobody's traveling, whatever. And then we were feeling kind of bad because we were tipping in Mexico when we were at that resort. They're oh yeah, just $1 to $2 is pretty good, right? And then Tara's well, what does that convert to? Because us, it's nothing, right? And I was oh, it's probably $10, something like that. That's a pretty good tip, 10, 20. And then she's no way, it can't be. And then we Googled the average income around the world. Can you guess what the average income is?
What, 10,000 or maybe less?
Okay, so I was maybe 20,000, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's $9,000. So if everyone's income's equal, let's say we all use the US dollar, the average income for the entire world is $9,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Okay. So now we're oh yeah, because we use it against the Western dollar, whatever, right? If you think about how much we make in the West, let's say two household income, okay? Let's say you're encroaching, you're approaching $100,000, okay? Household income, okay? Do you know, that is 1% of the entire world who can actually achieve $100,000 per year. And from that, so we are literally the 1%. You're oh, 100,000. It's okay, we both make 50. Somebody makes 60. Somebody makes 40. You kind of balance it out. You're okay, we're kind of even if you're okay, maybe we're 97, 98. But to actually get to almost $100,000, You are 1% of the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. Because then you're like, oh, wait, but like, that's not that much, you know? And then you're like, wait, is the West the 1%? And that's why everybody wants to come here? You
Yeah.
know? And then when we exactly, and when we realized that, I was like, yeah, that's why like all my cousins want to come here. That's why in the Philippines they're all into tourism. Like, what's your education background? Like, you're in like hospitality or tourism. Because then you go to a different country, or like nursing, you know? Filipinos
Mm-hmm.
are all nurses, right? And they make that joke, but it's like, but that's your way out, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my dad was a sailor, my mom was a nurse or is a nurse, and then it's like, but those are two pathways out. If it's anything in that country, it's like, well, you're stuck at $9,000 per year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about it, you're like, well, how much do I budget for a vacation? And then you're like, my one budget is almost your entire salary, bro, per
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
That's good. Like, what? When you put it in the numbers like that, you're like, okay, dude, what's going on? This is like really unfair territory here. You know what I mean? And then, and then you think about now take it one step deeper. We're all arguing, or like we're all upset about the multi-billionaires, the trillionaires. We're like, oh, these oligarchs are keeping us down. It's like, dog, you think you're kept down? Like, what about the other people in those countries? They're not even
Mm-hmm.
coming close to us. So we're talking about the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
And this is unfair distribution of wealth in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was listening to Stephen Greer, and he was like talking about UFOs. He's like, yeah, if we have UFO disclosure, you know, we'll have technology, and then everything will basically be free, you know, and then like wealth equality will like fix itself. Because he's like, out of what do you say, like 8 billion people, 3 billion people don't have electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what do you mean, bro? What are you saying? You know, and then he's like, oh, crazy wealth inequality. And it's just like, when you really boil it down, like, we really are so insanely lucky that we just got born
Mm-hmm.
in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that? That's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you like think about all those other people that you know, and you're just like, damn, you know, like, what do I do about this? You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
existential crisis. Because then you're like, well, where do you take it? You know,
Mm-hmm.
do you just appreciate your life? Like for me, I was like, hey, that just gives me like a reason to appreciate my life. I'm like, why would you complain about anything? Because like technically, it could be way worse. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like we have free healthcare, and like, you know what I mean? Like even that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you go to those countries and then you get like diabetes or something, right? You can't even afford the diabetes medication, and you're like, what are you saying, bro? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's free, like basically free here. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts? It's
Yeah.
trippy,
No, it's all true. Yeah. Yeah. No. No. No.
but
But I
like,
knew about the 1% thing though. I knew that we
yeah,
were part of the
right?
1%. If you look at it that way.
No, 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 totally. But like, when you say it, it's like, yeah, we're part of the 1%. Yeah, we're part of the 1%. It's like a phrase everyone else says, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
when you actually like do the numbers, I ask you like, oh, what do you think the like average income is? You know, and it's like, but when you actually break it down, it's like, wait, 9,000 per year?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty
Like
close.
for
Yeah.
some, but for some people, that's like three bags, bro. Three
Yeah.
like
No, but
Louis Vuitton
when you're
bags.
doing when you're doing average, it's not also that's an average of the world, right? But if you look at the other countries that are actually like what's actually bringing down that average, right? Maybe you should get rid of Europe and North America and check that average.
Oh, dude, it's probably gonna be so
Yeah.
low,
Yeah.
probably like $1,000 per
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what's crazy? It's like it makes sense why you hear like people in these other countries, they're just like watching the new like watching like TV shows and like, oh, one day I wish I could just like go down. So, or perfect example, we're watching like Southern Charm, right? We love reality TV. So like we're like, oh yeah, they just went to like Costco or something. We're like, oh, that's kind of boring. Like I wanted to see them like do something millionaire-ish, right? But to people in those countries, it's like, well, you guys get to go to Costco. You get to wake up and like go to a coffee shop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I wish one day I could just complain about my boss in a cubicle that I work in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, why do they work so hard? It's like, because to them, that's the dream, bro. Even going to like working at Tim Hortons, they're like, this is better than where I was from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
No, no, I
crazy.
remember even like it was I think 50 Cent said that too because it's like where he grew up, right? Projects or whatever. But like then
Mm.
going to travel and going to Africa and realizing, wait, I had it way better than we
Yeah.
realized.
And then, but then you're just like, bro, why don't people know this? But then I guess like it's like movies like because it didn't really hit until we saw like White Lotus and like the people that were working there were having conversation. You're like, that is what the conversation would be like. Like, oh, they at least get to travel. You know,
Hmm.
imagine working at a resort because like we were planning to go back to Casitas in Mexico. So like you go there, right? And then like from our perspective, like that was so cool. We get like unlimited food, whatever, whatever. And then to the people that are working there, they're making up stories about us. They're like, oh yeah, I bet you they came in this private jet, or like I bet back home it's like, you know what I mean? Like, what is the story that they're telling themselves as this like like this like fictitious thing that they want, you
Hmm.
know? It's like, oh, they took a plane to get here, and then now we're working. And then you know what's crazy about that whole thing? It's like you create this divide between like
Hmm.
them and us. Whereas I like to keep it like human. I don't even think about that. Like it didn't register, right?
Hmm.
And then like just treating them normal, but then them feeling awkward. And you're like, why are you awkward? Like, why do you find it weird that I'm having a conversation with you? But it's like, oh, it's because like you think I'm like a multimillionaire, but technically I am compared to your money. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's what creates the divide. And it's just like, but back home I'm like working a regular job. You know, it's like what
Yeah.
weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just like I don't know how to like feel about it
Hmm.
because then I'm like, do I? Well, there's this thing like Tara really wants to do. She has like free events, right? And then she's saying like, oh, I want to like donate. Maybe I'll like create this donation thing for because like in other countries you can't afford like menstrual pads and stuff like that. So like maybe I can like donate some of my stuff to like that
Hmm.
and like help that way. And then I was like, yeah, like I love nonprofits because the mission is so good, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
But like now I'm like, but what's the real mission? Like, is there a way I can like help with this as well? But it's like this just can't get solved. You can like alleviate a problem, but you can't solve the problem unless we have like free infinite energy. That's why I love UFOs. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully one day, like it'll become more even, or maybe we're just in the growing pains of that. I don't know. Like in the future, maybe like if energy is equal, and then everything is pretty much free, maybe they will travel as much as we travel and we'll just enjoy everything. I don't know,
Hmm.
like you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just feels really wrong now. You're just like, ooh, this is weird.
Yeah. Hmm.
That but then you also don't want to like because then there's that like threat of being like, oh, this is weird. So now I'm gonna be holier than thou, and it's like I'll never go on vacation again. And then you're just like, okay, but that doesn't feel right either. It's always like there's this weird balance of like understanding the truth, but also being like, okay, but I'm not in that position.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's like being generous to other people or like I don't know, what do you think? Like what how do you balance it? Like how would you balance it? You know?
Yeah. I think it makes sense to be generous, right? Because you
But
realize
yeah,
the
yeah.
pains and struggles that people could go through with that kind of thing, right? Um, with it's like realizing like yeah, you've got a very it's very privileged in a way, right? Living here, it's very
Yeah.
privileged.
And we didn't even know until we saw like the white list and
Hmm.
we're like, wait a minute, hold
Hmm.
on. Let's calculate this. And we're like, wait, this is crazy. But the generosity thing though, like I was like, oh, but there is also a weird generosity too,
Of
because
course.
like we were giving like $1, $2, right? And they're like, that's what you should give, right? So like, you calculate it's like $10, $20. And then we by the end, we started to feel bad after we left the resort and we like saw real Mexico and the people were trying to steal our like money. But like for me, when we were getting conned, remember the story of like
Yeah.
give them $1 and it's like, oh, it's actually I'd give them 20 and then they're like, oh, you actually only gave me $1. And I was like, but you have to do this because like $20 to you is technically $200. So you're like, this is amazing. you know? And for us, like $20 is like nothing. Like, oh, it's $20. All right, cool. And then you start to get upset, but then you're like, but I understand where you're coming from. So, okay, you can take that 20, you
Mm-hmm.
know? But then, like, when we came back, we started tipping $5. And then it was like, wait, but now that if you do the conversion, it's like you're tipping people $50. They're like, what? Like, imagine if I tipped them like $10 every time. Then that's $100. And they're going to feel like, ooh, why is this so much compared to everyone else? You know, it's like there's a weird offsetting balance here. I don't know. You know, it's like, how do you go not too far, but far enough?
Mm-hmm.
Can't save everyone either. It's like, and then the other thing is like, if you listen, she's like, well, you like nonprofits, like just donate to like feed the children. But I also know that most of that money goes towards admin costs. Like at the end of the day, actually, you know what? Your brother brought this up, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So like, instead of, I haven't done it yet. I didn't have time yesterday. I was so busy. But instead of giving people money, just buying like a bunch of Tim Hortons gift cards and then just giving those out. Because like they can only buy Tim Hortons stuff with that, you
Mm-hmm.
know? It's not like they're going to use on drugs or whatever, like alcohol. I mean, maybe they need that, but like with with this, at least it's like you know it's going towards food, you
Right.
know? Like maybe that's like at least if you do it like that, then you're not having an intermediary. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
like if I donated, because somebody's like, why don't you just donate to like a food bank? Okay, but my donation's also going towards salaries. Whereas if I just give you this Tim Hortons gift card, it's me to you, bro. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird because it's like you also need those admin costs because they're figuring out other things, you know, logistically, but also at the same time, you're like, if you want to maximize on your dollar, I don't know, you know?
No,
I'm just
maybe
like
that is.
conflicted with
It
this.
depends on where you're at, right? So you were saying that $15, but yeah, you can maximize that here, locally, but it may not be helpful. Like how you're gonna do that on
No,
another
right,
part of the
right.
world, right? That's
How do
not
you
gonna
take the
work, right?
intermediary out?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How do you take the intermediary out of the third world?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like between the, um,
That will be
yeah,
difficult to do, right? Unless you're going
yeah,
there physically and doing it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, wait. I totally drank so much coffee and I forgot to go right before the start of this podcast. Quick pause. My bad, my bad. Quick pause, quick pause. All right, we're back. So keeping it to an hour. So it's like, what do you mean, like 10:20 or like?
10:30 is fine.
All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so the so with that, it's like, do you like? How do you feel about? Or maybe I'll just forego all the other top roll to talk about this because like it's just like, how do you fix this problem, bro? Um, like how do you help somebody in that other country then, aside from donating to like starving children funds? You know, it's like maybe we were talking about. So we don't want to have kids, but it's like maybe you adopt, but then it's like, oh, but then you gotta friggin' watch that kid. It's like maybe you just sponsor
Mm-hmm.
someone. Like you find someone
You gotta find what
there.
works for you and see what's out there, right? What are the kind of things that are there that are helping people, right? So I'm sure there's also lots of things that are out there that people are doing or already, you know what I mean, have done that you can look up and find out, right? And what works for you, right? Adopting is a very,
That's crazy though, bro. Like, oh
right?
my God. Like, you
Sure.
know, you're
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah.
hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that too if that's what that individual.
Yeah, like you're calling. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's what you got to find out what works for you, what makes sense to you.
But then, okay, so I guess the first part is like education, because it's like you didn't even know, like you don't even know what you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that's the cool part about shows like White Lotus when they like brought this up. You're like, oh, dude, I didn't even think about this. But like I guess the first step would be like, how do you even educate other people that have never left the country? Because you can't see it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they're impoverished because they haven't left the country. I don't know. You know, it's like maybe you just forego those people or like,
People that are here, you mean? That are
yeah, yeah,
yeah. It's everyone will reach that thing at their time, right? It's not like you can't tell everybody to do the same thing. It's you've come to
yeah.
this realization now, right?
Totally, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So that then that's what I'm saying. Like you're thinking of these ideas at this point. Like other people are at different scenarios, or could be like they may not be able to help either, right?
Hmm.
For their own circumstances. So that's up to them, right?
Or maybe it's like an immigrant kid issue. Because like your parents will tell you it's like that, and then you'll like visit that country, like, oh, dude, it's pretty crazy, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But like, if you were born here and you have generations here, maybe it's just not for you. It's almost like, like you can be an ally. They're like, oh, like Black Lives Matter. It's like I'm just more of an ally. I'm not like I can't be a strong advocate because I don't live in your shoes, and it just comes off disingenuous if you're like Black Lives Matter. Like, dude, your parents own slaves. You know what I mean? You're like, what?
But in
So like,
sometimes it like I would say like without directly doing it, you're kind of already doing it. Like, but then, so like for instance, like in the U.S., right? Like the foreign aid kind of thing was there, but then Elon Musk also like gutted it, right? But like when it was there, it was sending money to help with like HIV/AIDS medicines for
mm,
those in those countries and stuff like that, right? So there was multiple things like that that's happening without your own knowledge that your government is doing.
right, right, okay, okay, that's fair. That's good. All right, that's good to know too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, why is it so? What like why is there such a crazy divide? Like coming upon this realization, you're like, oh, dude, people only make like $9,000 a year, right? You're like, why is it skewed in such a manner?
Hmm.
Like, I guess the chips just fell where they may, kind of thing. Like, this is just how it happened.
Yeah, I think there's multiple things. It's hard to. I mean, there was a point where everyone was kind of even. Then the technology really changed it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right,
right?
right, right, right. And I'm
The,
wondering, is it like, yeah, go
mhm.
ahead.
It could be the technology thing, but also it was such a different time even 100 years ago. It was colonized countries, right? And you're leaving it from there, so like them having to like pick it up from scratch kind of thing, to rebuild. So there's a lot of things that are in. It's still the growing pains of that.
Yeah, totally, totally, totally. I really think if you look into Stephen Greer's work, like I think UFOs are at the heart of the issue, or like they're a microcosm of the macrocosm. Like the whole UFO issue, I think it's like it's really talking towards inequality and how the system's rigged. Because it's like, how do we get to this point where like third world countries, like I don't want to call them third world because it's so demeaning,
Well,
you know?
that's what they
It's
call them,
like,
developing countries now.
oh, thank you, thank you. So developing countries, like how do we create such a divide without there being some rigging of the system where rich people just got richer
Hmm.
off of this? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like as they were trying to level up, something got in the way and like took their money away. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
like with UFOs, and then they're like, well, they're hiding secret technologies that could keep like create a utopia on Earth. Whether you believe that or not, if you just look into the UFO issue, you uncover a lot of corruption. And then you're just like, this is why the world the way it is. It's corruption.
Hmm.
Or do you disagree? Like, do you think like to me it
Well, in
feels
some
like
ways, yeah, but like, what do you mean? Is it only the corruption in the West, or just corruption in general?
no, globally.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
so
yeah.
the UFO thing, it's not a Western issue. He says it's a transnational conspiracy,
Hmm.
meaning that like a bunch of countries are involved,
Hmm.
right? And then if you look at like so then you're like, okay, cool. So there's this UFO conspiracy that's transnational. What other conspiracy you guys got going on that's transnational?
Hmm.
Like how does the IMF work? International Monetary Fund or whatever? Like
Hmm.
how does the UN work? How did you guys choose to not focus on Africa, but you're choosing on like to focus on Canada? You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
what deals are not being made or not are being like skewed in a way to advantage one country over another. But we know that's the nature of the beast, like advantage one country over another.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you be corrupt in your an advancement towards advantage? You know what I'm saying? Like it's inherently corrupt. Or no? I don't like
I don't
this
know
is my point
what
of
that
view.
means by inherently corrupt.
Like
What
okay,
is that?
okay. So if we're playing a game,
Mm-hmm.
okay, no, you know what it is? It's game theory. Winner, loser. Okay. So like in game theory, it's so funny when I was in business school, they're like, you gotta read this book called Game Theory. And I was just like, what? Like all the finance people, I'm like, what are you guys saying? Like, I don't care. And then like after all these years, I finally read it, and it literally boils down to this. You could have just told me instead of me you read the book. Winner, loser, loser, winner, win-win, lose-lose, or options. Like, duh. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
But so like the West is playing this like win-lose game, zero-sum game. One of us is gonna lose, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But why can't you just make like win-win?
Who's playing the West? Win-win or win-lose situation.
Stock market, businesses, everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything is win-lose, bro. If I have two businesses,
Yeah.
right, and we have to pay rent, I have to do everything in my power. There's where marketing comes in to steal your customer from mine,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Sure.
it's like that inherently will give you motive to be corrupt. Think about Nikola Tesla versus the AC/DC thing, right? We talked about
Mm-hmm.
that last time. And like that's where this whole UFO thing stems. It's like if you know there's a better solution, why are we not going towards the better solution, bro? You know what I mean?
Well.
Like we're not going utopically, like win-win. We're not trying to solve the problem. We're just trying to like win lose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our system. That's capitalism, basically.
Right.
And that's the heart of the West. So it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you're baking in corruption into the foundation of things. You know, what's the other option? Oh, socialism. Oh no, but then I don't want to let a tyrant. You're like, okay, fair. You're right. But like we need to make it in a way where it's like we're all looking out for one another. Or does that sound like too kumbaya-ish? You know what's wait, hold on. Before you answer that, like too kumbaya-ish. So if we're talking to a child, right? And we're like, hey little kid, there's one piece of candy. I'm gonna take this candy or you're gonna take the candy.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can split the candy. What do you want to do? Split the candy. Like the kid inherently knows that it's a good idea to split the candy, unless they've been taught by their parents, like, no, you own everything, you know, something like that. Or like, no, you should give everything away. That's actually how I was brought up. My dad was always like, just give it away. You could always buy another one. I was like, yeah, you're right.
Right.
Here, you could take this. I'll buy another one.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it should, like, inherently, it feels like,
We don't know if it's
intuitive.
necessarily inherent or taught to us, right? Um,
Okay.
this is like that whole. We're a mix of the. I don't know, like it's not 100%, but like we're a mix of that chimpanzee and bonobo kind of situation
Oh, with the
where
grape? Is the story of the grape?
it's just the grape or like chimpanzees are very territorial, very group
Mm.
oriented, right? One group versus another group, but the bonobos are very like I'll share the stuff with anybody, like with other
Oh, that's
bonobos.
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So those are our like cousins in our evolutionary ancestry. So we may have a mix of those too, right? So where people can be very generous, or where there's
Mm.
also people who are very greedy at the same
Right.
time.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Like speaking of the chimp thing, you know what's I heard the craziest theory about this UFO thing, and I'm like, that makes the most sense out of everything I've heard. So if you can interstellarly travel, okay, like what they're saying with the crafts, right? With the physics, they're like, okay, you should be able to like traverse the cosmos really quickly, and time should not be an issue for you. It's almost like you're playing a video game and you can like speed up or slow down time. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
there's so many video games like that. Heavy Rain, you could do that, like speed up the time or whatever. Or
Mm-hmm.
no, not um, Cyberpunk. You remember like you can like memories and then you like fast forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what they're saying is that theoretically, like one possibility is that the we are not like the aliens that are able to traverse space and time, what they could be doing is just doing this to all planets. They're the gatekeepers of life. So like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
just gonna zip to this planet, take this element. I'm gonna zip to that planet, take this element. Then I'm just gonna put it here, and like maybe we'll create something like a scientist,
Sounds
basically.
like No Man's Sky, the game.
Oh wait, what? Okay, that's interesting.
It
Well,
is
what's the
literally
storyline?
like no, it's literally just like getting resources for you can go to any planet, right? You're like in your ship, but it's like you can travel very quickly, slow down your speed,
Oh, interesting.
go fast again, or stand still. It's up to you.
Okay, interesting, interesting. So yeah, No Man's Sky, basically, and then you are creating these different life forms on different planets, given like different elements, and you're kind of like tending to the garden. That's what they think. Like one theory of UFOs could be, and like the reason why we keep seeing them is because they're checking up on us. They're like, oh, how are these people doing, right? So like it would be interesting if they really did genetically engineer us close to the bonobos because that's what they're like, oh, these monkeys. Hey, let's just add this here. And like, oh, look, life is growing and like, blah, blah, right? So, like, if that's true, it could explain why we have these tendencies of like selfishness and like collectivism.
Hmm.
But what separated us from the bonobos? Like, why do we branch off as like humans? And that's why they're just saying like aliens, right? But, but like, maybe that's just how we are on Earth, you know? And then maybe they're just looking for altruistic life that can evolve
And I
and
think
become,
I was
you know?
wondering, like, there's other things that can trigger it in a way where if people are in scarce need, do they become very like territorial? Like, okay, uh,
Yes,
right? And then if you have money, you have a tendency to be more generous. It could be,
totally, totally.
right?
Totally, totally. Like there's more of a likelihood for you to be generous if you have an abundance than
Hmm.
a lack of abundance, right?
Hmm.
Because if you're moving from a place of scarcity, you're like, well, I need this to like survive, right? And like taking that into account, is that why everyone's pushing fear on us? Fear, fear, fear. Because if you're in a fear state, you're more
Yeah.
like survival based. You're not thinking
Hmm.
too clearly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But also, that's fear based is like that. I mean, that's how all these people are at the border. They're taking your jobs. Like that's fear based.
Exactly. No, that's what I mean. And like, is this the conspiracy? Are they just like mind controlling us over this fear?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
Oh
like
yeah,
if we
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
keep you guys right, exactly. So like, oh, if today it's not the immigration, tomorrow's gonna be an alien threat,
Hmm.
and oh, aliens are gonna come take over. Like we need to keep creating a bigger and bigger fear.
Hmm.
Oh, it's like, and now it's climate change. Now it's nuclear holocaust. Like anything we can do to just keep you in a fear state. 2012, 2000. Like think about how many like moments. I saw this meme where it's like millennials like have living through like so many crises and like Armageddons, and it's like, yeah, dude, we literally did. Like growing up, like Y2K, oh my god, and
Hmm.
then like, but you know what's weird? Like we're thinking about the millennials because like those are the memes that I see, but technically, my dad's lived through this plus the Vietnam War and other things. You know what I mean? It's like his is way worse than mine, you
Yeah.
know? And it's like, are they just keeping you here scared in order to like, like control you?
Well, I don't think I
And
see it from the other side like that. Um,
what do you mean? Like
like
from
you're
the government
saying,
side?
either you're saying climate change or things like that.
Yeah.
Sure, there's like a level of fear to that, but I think the idea is to be finding solutions to not have that as the issue, right?
But this 100, I agree with you. But then why aren't we working together? No, I 100% agree with you.
Hmm.
It's like it's been 100 years. Why are we still running off of fossil fuel? We all
Hmm.
know about nuclear. It's clean. Why are you not doing it? Oh, because lobbyists. Oh, okay. Oh, it's because like we're trying to go with solar. Wait, but solar can't fulfill the needs we need all the time. Okay, wind. Okay, well, same with that. But nuclear's right there, bro. Like when
Well,
I keep
I don't
hearing this
think.
about,
See,
yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't know why it's like it has to be a one solution. What's wrong with using solar, wind,
totally.
and nuclear? I don't understand.
100%, 100%, 100%. But it's like, why aren't you just working on the best solution? No, no,
Hmm.
what we're
Yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
here is
yeah,
like,
yeah,
why don't you figure out the best solution, bro?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why are you making it so hard?
Hmm.
Okay, we know climate change is an issue. Well, let's work together.
Hmm.
How many storms do you need to see before we fix this problem?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, easy for you to say because like you guys live in the West and you have like technology and use technology and like you have a gas powered car, blah, blah, blah. It's not on me, bro. It's not on me. I can only purchase what you offer me.
Hmm.
And I can only purchase which is in the best of my interest, meaning that if I have the money for it, I can purchase it. We all can't buy like a Cybertruck, bro. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's like that's so expensive. So work together commercially. You are the 1% of the 1%. You have all the trillions in the world, and you're not trying to figure out a solution that's kumbaya for everyone. You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
crazy to me. Like, why are you still trying to win the game? You already won the game. You're the 1% of the 1%. How much do you need?
Yeah.
But it's friggin' obvious. You know what I mean? It's like you're like, like what if I said this to like Elon Musk to his face? Is like, don't you know this? Like,
Hmm.
it's pretty obvious to all of us, bro.
Yeah.
But they don't care. And then you're just like, why don't you care? Okay, are you demonic? Like when you talk about demons, like when you talk about evil people, like, do you believe in good and evil?
In what sense?
Like, just you're just like, oh, that's pretty freaking evil. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I also am like, okay, well, what's the Taoist perspective? Like, it's all part of nature, right? Like, that's all
Hmm.
part of nature.
I don't think I would necessarily use words like evil. It just is a different connotation to me. Just
No, no, there are some evil things out there, bro. Like, there are some
oh
evil
yeah, yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah. No, no, no. I understand that, but I think that's like would I say Hitler did things that were evil?
But okay, okay, because
Right.
because
I'm trying to give it like what is my context of evil?
all right. So I can't really judge Hitler. It's like you were kind of a leader, and you were just like saying a bunch of things. Like, you didn't physically do anything. He wasn't going around like
No, but
pushing
it
like.
hap- well,
No,
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 but
I agree.
right. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, but
He was the
like
orchestrator of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would
But
view that like evil, right?
um, yeah, yeah, sure, that's evil. Yeah, like you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I say like, yo, you're crazy, bro. Like that's like we're delving into like evil, like deranged. Like there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I say evil, it's like it's not like evil, like oh, good and evil, Satan versus devil. It's more like, dude, that's crazy. Like some, if you
Mm-hmm.
hear some things, you're just like, dude, that's crazy, bro. Like, and I was listening to these Navy SEAL podcasts. They're the best, man. Oh, I gotta tell you about warfare. That's the
I was gonna show
crazy.
you that trailer for that one. I want to know
Oh, I saw
what's
it already.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
dude. Okay, quick tangent. We'll talk about warfare right now. It's related. That scared the crap out of me, bro.
Yeah,
Because you know
I
I
heard it
love.
was really good as a.
Oh, oh, you gotta watch it.
Mm,
You go watch it. Like so they always glorify war. That's why I love war movies. I'm like, yeah, dude, good versus evil. We're gonna like triumph over them, blah blah blah, right? This one, zero soundtrack. There was nothing to prompt you that this was a good move. So you're just watching war at its like base.
hmm.
And you're like, oh, this is crazy. We can't be doing this. So okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
There,
I've seen so many war movies. It's crazy that are like how
like why are we
crazy
doing this?
and yeah.
But you should watch Warfare. It's the craziest of the craziest.
Hmm.
A24 makes great movies. The reason why is this. So they, I guess I'm going to spoil it for you, but you know, it's war, whatever. Same thing. Killing, killing. It's the same thing. It's just more of like how they presented the killing. So they're in there, like they're doing the job, like, yeah, like we got to go like kill these insurgents, whatever, right? And they're trying to get evac, and then an IED blows up. Two dudes' legs get blown off, and
Hmm.
they're dragging the bodies in. They're screaming at the top of their lungs. No soundtrack. You're just listening to a dude scream at the top of his lungs. And then, like, as they're pulling the body in, the detached leg gets caught in the door, and they're like trying to pull it, and he's like, "Stop, please, God, stop!" You know. And then they're like trying to move his body, and he's like, "There's got to be another way. Like, please don't like stop. Like, you know, you have to like stop the
Yeah,
bleeding. You have
yeah,
to
yeah,
move the
yeah, yeah.
body." He's like, "No, please don't." And then my sister, you know, what she said to me, she's like, "Oh, it's like me at work." I'm like, "What are you saying right now?" And she's like, "Yeah, we have to deal with that all the time. Like when you're moving like a person that's hurt." And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
the one
yeah.
dude, he woke up. Dude, that's dramatic. I'm like, why do you work in this job? Like, it's crazy, you know? But
Mm-hmm.
like the one dude's like, give me morphine, right? And then, but they couldn't give him morphine. You're like, why? And my sister at the end, she's like, because morphine drops your heart rate. So if you are already low in your heart rate and they give you morphine, it drops it more, you're dead. So it's better that they're screaming in pain than comfortable.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you know that they're alive. I'm like, kill me. Just kill me. If that ever happened, shoot me in the head. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
do not want to feel that. You're insane. Like, your legs are blown off and they're trying to move you and it
Mm-hmm.
gets caught on the door and you're like, oh my God, my leg is caught in the door. And then they're all freaking out, like, oh, dude, help me, help me.
Yeah.
And then you know what's crazy about that? So you're like, oh, dude, that's gnarly, bro. Like that, yeah, warriors, like army people go through that. Then they finally get evac'd. And then the Afghanis come out and they're like, damn, we gotta live in this. That's it. And that's how the movie ends, bro. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
see both sides where it's like they went in with so much turmoil. There's war, war, war. And then all of a sudden they leave, the army people. And then it's like, wait, but we still have to live here. Like families,
Mm-hmm.
their whole block. Imagine like your whole street got destroyed and they just leave. And then you're like, now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Again, no soundtrack. So you're just like, oh yeah, it is eerie. Like they just come out like they're like all the Afghanis are shooting, whatever, whatever. The army people leave. They come out of the houses where they're shooting from, and they're just looking at each other like, now what?
Yeah.
Boom, ends. And you're like, that is war, bro. Like, if I was on that side too, like the Afghani side, like, wouldn't you fight back? Like, what are you doing? Of course, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like you can't blame them, is what I'm saying. It's like you came into my zone,
Well, it depends.
you
Yeah.
know,
I mean, there was Afghanis that helped Americans, right?
because they wanted a better way of life, totally. But
Yeah.
like, still, I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like you believe in an ideology, they're trying to fix it. You know what's even
Was
crazier
it
though?
was it Afghanistan or was it Iraq? I'll have different opinion on that.
Oh, Iraq, Iraq. Was it Iraq? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because if it's
I can't
Afghanistan,
remember.
it's the Taliban, right? That's different. I think it was Iraq. If it's
Okay,
Iraq,
okay.
well, yeah, um, that was an
Was it Iraq?
unjust war, right?
Okay, maybe it was that. Actually, I don't even know. I just yeah. I just saw bombs and I'm like, oh, okay. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like same thing. Even if it's like yeah, Taliban, it's like, but they're still just trying to live their lives, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah,
if
exactly, yeah. But then
you know,
yeah, I understand. Yeah, they wanted to live
no,
their
it's
lives,
not even the
right?
fighters though. No, like it's not even the fighters. Like they had to go into people's houses and
Yeah, yeah.
like use the house. These army people literally, that's like me living in this apartment. And then an army comes in and they're like, sorry, we need yours as a sniper post.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I got kids, bro. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. It's like horrific. But all right, so getting back to it, it's like, why do we do this?
Yeah, this was
Like
not that long ago.
that's what I mean. It was like
This is our
2006
time.
or something, and you're like,
Yeah,
Doc, what are we doing?
yeah.
You know? It was the first war movie where it was not glorified and it just showed you like the rawest version of war, and you're like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
this is not cute, bro. You
Yeah.
know? Like we can't be doing like you know what it is too? It's the internet. I can converse with somebody in that part of the world if I wanted to, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And once you create the human element, it's like, how can I do that to you? Like even global trade, like Itchy Boots going to those different parts of the world,
Yeah,
right? She even went to like war torn places, and you're just like,
yeah.
we're
She went
so
through Iraq.
connected,
Yeah.
right? So we're so connected as a species. It's like, why would I ever do you dirty like that, bro?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like without the internet, we were able to keep secrets and like manipulate people to the fullest extent. You know, it's like, oh, they're enemies, they're evil, blah, blah, blah. But like, imagine 2001 with, imagine if 2001 we had the internet we had now, and people are like, oh, yeah, Al Qaeda's bad, Osama bin Laden's bad. And then you're like, hey, did you see that Netflix documentary where actually Osama worked with the Americans? You're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know that back in the day. They never said like, oh, he's a former op. Or unless they did, do you remember them saying? I just remember like painting him as the enemy. You're like the boogeyman from the cave, and you're like, what?
No,
It's cave.
they're. I mean, again, it's when they were working together, that was against the Russians. But there was articles about like not trusting Osama
Okay,
at the time.
but still, bro, you
Mm-hmm.
worked with him, bro.
Yeah.
It was your choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't know. it's like that partnership one. Like,
No, but
didn't
it's like working with the Germans until they became Nazis, and then it's like, oh,
no, 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 no. But
right.
but the thing is this though. Like, did you look into why Osama turned?
There's different stories about that. It's
No,
his
there's like a book on it, like Looming Tower, and there's another one. I forgot the other book
the
is. I
looming
don't
tower
usually name
was
the lead up to it.
lead up to the World Trade thing.
No, but it still talked. No, no, no. That was the show, but in the book, it talked about the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So he was promised freedom for his country. This light is getting really bad right now.
Mm-hmm.
He was promised freedom for his country, and then they didn't leave. And he's like, "Bro, you promised me this." So then he's like, "Oh, you just want to take over?"
I don't know if
And
they
then that's when he
stayed
was
in
like,
Afghanistan necessarily. I think it was like other things like working with Saudis and things like that. But then he doesn't have control over what the Saudis want to do.
Sure. There was like something that they highlighted in the book about like a promise made that was broken about like giving them autonomy and freedom and like maybe it is the Saudi thing. It's like, oh, you guys weren't supposed to work with them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's like a more specific thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like if I was on that end, okay, like the Russians are here. I need your help. Cool. Here's your stuff. And you're like, we're gonna give you freedom, autonomy when you're done. All right, cool. And then it's like, but now
Because
we want you to do
they
this.
didn't use. I don't know if they had American troops there when they were fighting Russians because they weren't. They were giving them the weapons.
Training and weapons. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So it's not
But
like they
still,
had
it's like,
a.
but you're like
Uh,
working with them though, bro. It's like we
no, no, no. What I mean is like I don't think that Americans were there on the land outside of the training thing.
okay, for sure. But it's like if we're working together and then I got upset at you, why did I get upset? We're not
Mm-hmm.
asking that question. I I don't think Osama's in a place to negotiate. It you know what I mean? It's like you hold all the chips, why else would I be upset at you?
Mm-hmm.
We're not asking that question, you know? And what I'm saying is like if we had the level of internet we had back then, it's like what kind of corruption could you hide? Because then you're like, oh, 9/11, which is crazy. That is crazy. But like then when you dig deeper into it, you're like, wait, what is going on here? And then
Mm-hmm.
you unravel more conspiracies or like corruption. And I think that like that's what is different about where we're headed now, which is like the internet is just giving us all the information. And we can like better judge. Like I don't think in the future that's why I was like, oh, past 2025, why are we gonna have wars? You know? Because it's like I see you as a human, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. Like I really think it's like the great equalizer to create humanity, but it's the greatest issue for these corrupt people. And I think like that's what's taking place right now. This like enlightening moment for the world.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're still fighting though. We're still doing drone strikes. It's
No,
still
no, right,
happening.
right, right. For sure, for sure, for sure. In those like developing countries, right? But like how long will that last?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I don't see it pushing. The only way forward is collective, or we're just going to get a totalitarian government, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
like how can you? I don't think the narrative of like good versus evil, like that country's evil, is going to hold up anymore. And maybe that's why they need to bring up this whole like UFO issue. And they're just like, oh, UFOs are coming because they needed an enemy. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay.
Or no, like, what? Do you think that's crazy or what?
No, no. I think it's still happening. There. It's still like the recent attack in Yemen, like via Saudi Arabia, right? So it's like still going on.
No, no, for sure. No, no. I'm saying like going forward. Like we're still in it. It was like
When is
2025, bro.
yeah, yeah,
Like
okay. But I don't know when is going forward. It's still happening, right? Like going forward like in
what
the
I'm saying
next
is, I
10
think it's
years?
sure. Yeah, I think it's gonna be phased out. Because like, think about all those people. Like, how many people were like, "Oh, this is why this is going on, and that's why that's going on." Remember, we're like, "Oh, why? Why is?" what is Israel and Palestine? Why are they fighting? And then people break it down. And you're like, oh, okay, that's why they want that, and that's why they want that. Remember, it's like they believe this land is theirs, and they believe that land's not theirs. I'm like, dude, we need to settle this.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
we thought it was done. Like then there's Russia and Ukraine that's going on, right?
but that's been for a while, right? And then, but here's the
Mm-hmm.
here's it, right? Russia, Ukraine. Like, dude, we gotta support the Ukrainians. And then I was like, wait, should we ally with Russia because China's starting to become too much of a power? And you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. I thought we were all like against the Russians, but now all of a sudden we want to work with them. Like, what are you guys talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like that to me. It's like, does nobody else see that this is weird back and forth going on? It's just you're playing with this narrative, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the internet, like we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
We are literally discoursing our like our lack of trust in what narratives we're being told. I don't think we're the only ones. I think a lot of people are like, what the hell's going on right now? And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I mean. I think like the internet, like I think like in 10 years, like if everyone's having the same conversation you and I are, it's like, why are we fighting?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like did you fly a Ukrainian flag?
No.
Same, right? But so many people did,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it's like, oh, and then we got like, oh, but now it's bad that we did that because like, like now they're pushing the narrative in a different direction, which is like,
Well, I don't know who that is. I'd say on the Trump side. I don't think that's still this. That's not the same in like Canada. Let's say.
okay, totally, totally, totally. But like the fact that it is being pushed in a different direction, then it makes you go, what's going on? And
Mm-hmm.
too many times of going, what's going on makes people look into it. So it's like they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot because every time they make us question what's going on, we relook at what's going on, and then we're like, wait, what other things are freaking corrupt here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, if they publicly do like project like their the alien threat narrative, if they publicly do that, people are just gonna like start spamming like Project Blue Book, this is a psyop, this is a psyop. Like I don't think that they can spin an alien threat narrative to most people. Like maybe like the boomers or whatever, but like give it 5 years and like they're all dead or whatever. Like not 5 years, but like you know what I'm saying? Like once they're phased out, like people who are adept at the internet, they'll be able to like figure this out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't think so?
I don't think so. I think there's too much disinformation.
Really?
There's a
No,
lot of
but
misinformation that's out there that are causing a lot of issues. What to actually trust? Then you just don't trust anything.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. Too much disinformation. Then we're like, what the disinformation? What? Blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
Who even knew the word disinformation? You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
like, right? And you're then a kid of tomorrow, like a little kid's gonna be like, disinformation, mom. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
what's disinformation? Then the kid's gonna grow up reading about disinformation. Is this real? I gotta really look into this. That's what I mean about shooting themselves in the foot. It's like
Mm-hmm.
too many times you like cry wolf, and then people are gonna like catch on. Unless you totally don't think so.
No, What do you mean? Oh, like catch on to disinformation or catch on
Yeah,
to?
yeah. Like the fact that like you're like, because you're like, oh, it's too much disinformation. You don't think other people know about disinformation? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I get it. Like older people, like my parents are like, what's disinformation? But you and I are like disinformation, and then our generation's having kids, and they're like, that's just disinformation. Oh, that's just AI faking it. You're like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
AI can fake things? How do you know this is real? Then everyone's like, what is real? I want to see it for myself. That could just be a fake video. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, there's so much distrust now of everything that I think that this distrust is like going to push you towards figuring out what's real,
Hopefully, I'll be on that side. Sure.
right? Like, because it's almost like community notes. Like, we're just like, hey, like you set, perfect
Mm-hmm.
example. I
Mm-hmm.
send you something, and you're like, dude, that's not real. I'm like, what? And then you send me the counter to that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Right.
Kids will do that too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
little kids will be like, oh, look, they're doing this, and then the other kid will be like, no, this is real. And then the kid's gonna like figure, like, you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
in truth will filter itself out through this process,
Mm.
and that's why I think like in 10 years, or not 10 years, well maybe 10 years, But like the next generation or two generations away from our generation, I truly believe in like utopia. Because like, how else can you do it unless they just shut off the internet? You know?
Yeah, yeah. I hope that happens. Yeah, I think if the internet, the best thing about it is to bring us together. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It like that's literally what it's doing, and it's like that's why I think that we're in a totally different era. Like when I
Hmm.
see all this UFO stuff, like all this conspiracy with the UFOs and like all this corruption, I was like, that could never work now. Like what you're psyoping, like for example, like they're like, oh, we came across this UFO thing, and like they're trying to tell me that I can't talk about it unless I like. So, all right, so there's a lot of stories of like they'll come upon a UFO, army officials, then their CO, their commanding officer, will bring them in a room. You have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, right, to like not talk about the UFO that you just saw. Okay, and then a lot of people are like, oh, I can't talk about the UFO because like NDAs and like I'll be sued and they'll kill me, right? I'm just gonna go live on Reels, bro. Like, guys, I just saw a freaking UFO, bro. Like, there's no gatekeeper anymore.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like or I'll just tweet about it, or like I'll snap a photo on my phone, send it off to the internet. You know, it's like the dissemination of the information is so fast now that like it's hard to hide things. You know, and people will like deep dive on it. They'll like check the metadata. You know, this
Hmm.
picture was skewed. You know what I mean? Like I just don't know how secrecy is going to go going forward.
Right.
Unless you do. I don't know. Like, you really think that people can like still be corrupt going forward? I just don't know.
Corrupt.
Yeah, oh, of course corruption will still be there, but I mean like this game of like liars. You know, like the cabal of secrecy.
Hmm.
Like you think that that can keep going forward?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
I just don't see it. I don't
Mm.
know. Like the election fraud thing. Like for example, like oh, there's election fraud, and then you're like technically no because of this. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It's like I can't just lie. Like if I was like
No, I
a
understand.
voter,
I
you know what I
understand that.
mean?
But there's other people like that just don't trust that information. No, you're wrong. Those people are lying. They don't
Yeah, but
even
how
trust the actual truth, or they don't believe in the truth. So then those people are
fair?
gone, right?
Totally, totally, totally. But like, is that the major cities or is that the minor cities where people are still confused of how the internet works?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, is it like middle America that didn't believe that, or is it the major cities that you know?
Sure. Yeah. You're saying population basis, right?
Like I no, I'm saying like dumb people are gonna be dumb. You know what I mean? Like if you're in middle America and you're like, I don't know how to plug in my router. It's like, okay, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
conned.
Hmm.
You know, like phishing scams, how they're like, don't open, everyone's like, don't open anything that doesn't sound real. I'm like, no duh. But they're
Hmm.
saying that for like old people, you know, like you just won $2 million, click this link. I'm like, what? No, delete, right? And
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God. Then you deserve to have been hacked, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you think you won $1 million, you can click this link and receive your money. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
All right, not deserved. Like you were of a different generation that didn't understand it. But what I'm saying is like what I was saying, like 10 years from now, I really don't think people will be hoodwinked. Like you're gonna see the phishing scam and be like, that's not real.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Really? You think so? You really think people are like dumb, technically? Like,
Yeah.
you know? Really? Wow, that's crazy, bro. Why? Why do you think that way?
Yeah.
Like, wow, why do you
Just what I see. Just what I see.
wow, eh? Or is it
Yeah.
an echo chamber? You know,
It
like
could
maybe we're
be.
just seeing
It
a lot
could
of
be
dumb
that.
people.
Maybe.
You're seeing a lot of dumb people. I'm just like, oh, I hope they're not dumb, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, with all that, okay, with all that, you know what's really interesting? So, because like speaking of echo chambers, and yeah, it's so true. Like I personally, I get like really bored a lot, so I like to do like a lot of things, right? So yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
I went like to this Scarborough um, sale, like a Scarborough Spots. They had a sale, so I went to go buy some clothes. Right after that, I went climbing, and then right after climbing, I went to this our niece seminar with the Dog Brothers, who are like these like famous stick fighters. And then after that, I came home, and then Tara and I watched like the Taylor Swift candlelight violin thing downtown. Crazy day, right? Da-da-da-da-da, right? And it's funny because you're saying echo chambers. I was at the Dog Brothers thing, and I'm like, why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not, it was amazing. It was amazing. The technique's amazing. I'm not saying like like why I didn't waste my time. I've just noticed that being in these martial arts arenas and being able to keep up, I'm just like, why am I around you guys? You guys are weird. You know, like there's one day we were like, so I use a hockey stick, a hockey pad, and like I'm like hitting the hands, right? And like I would say I'm pretty adept at that. I was just piecing dudes up, right? And then like the one guy's like, yeah, I like to wear a thin glove, not a hockey glove, because I like to feel it. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, yeah, there's one time that I broke my ring finger, and I didn't even realize I was trying to take off my glove. I'm like, why am I here? Why would you do that to yourself? You know what I mean? Like, this sounds dumb. Like, what?
Right.
I'm gonna use the hockey glove because I can still piece you up and not risk breaking my hand,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And then he was like, yeah. And then like I had this fight with this dude, and like he broke my arm, and I didn't realize he broke my arm until he grabbed my arm, and then I realized, oh, it's moving in the wrong direction. I'm like, you sound crazy to me. And I'm surrounding myself with these kinds of people. And I'm like, again, it's like I've done this for so long that I can keep up in these circles, but I'm like, what the hell is this? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's those echo chambers that you're talking about. It's like you're like, maybe people are just dumb. And I'm like, that's pretty dumb to me. Like, you know, like what they were doing. Like Tara's so adamant against me competing because like I send her all these like competition breaking videos where like they'll hyperextend the arm and break it. You know, it's like I
Okay.
top row snap, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know? And she's like, I don't want
Mm-hmm.
you doing that. I'm like, all right, cool. But like going from thing to thing, like, and then I was at the climbing thing. Everyone's obsessed with climbing. And it's just like, we really do live in these echo chambers, you know, of like, that's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Scarborough Spots people, like they're pretty hood in Scarborough, and then like their whole day was like, we got to promote the sale, and then like, all right, cool. They're obsessed with that, and then you go to like climbing, and then all these climbers, you're like, they're so obsessed, and then you go to this like Dog Brothers thing, they're so obsessed, and then you go to a candlelight thing, they're so obsessed with Taylor Swift, and you're just like, oh, people are just obsessed with a bunch of little things, and I'm out here just jumping from thing to thing, like, oh, look at the obsessions, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like we do live in echo chambers, bro. But I like to think like hopefully we're not in a stupid echo chamber. Like we'll move past like the internet conspiracy corruption kind of thing. But like
Yeah. Well.
that's humans, bro. But that's humans though, you know, like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
just
Of
like
course. Yeah.
trying to do the thing.
Yeah. I mean, the oldest echo chamber in the world still exists. Religion.
Exact totally. Right? So it's like what is going on? Like you'll go to church on like Sunday and you're like, man, these people are locked in, bro. You know. But then when you realize when you jump from thing to thing, it's like I was laughing to Tara that's like it's weird to me because I went from like a dude telling me that he broke his finger and his arm and kept fighting,
Mm-hmm.
jumping to a bunch of little kids like loving the violin Taylor Swift thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, these two would never get along. You know what I mean? Like, right? But I'm like, but I'm jumping between. I'm like, wow, you guys are so locked into your things. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like there's so much to do in this world that it's just like people are so weird. You know, like you would love F1. I'm just like, I'm just confused by it. But like, I bet you if I went to an F1 event, people are like so locked in. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
whoa. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could we destroy this? It's so beautiful. Like
Exactly.
Earth, you know?
Yeah. 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 Oh yeah.
We were at the Nordic Spa. I don't know if I told you this before, but like we were at the Nordic Spa in like Montreal, and it was so weird. Like so many people like spa day locked in, right? Like oh, I love the spa day, relaxing. And I was like, if I was an alien, I'd be here. I'd be
Mm-hmm.
here at this spa, and if I was an alien, I'd like go to like the stick fighting thing. Like human beings are so weird in like the things we like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen something like that. I don't know where it was, either a show or something like that, where like it was an alien thing, but it was like is tourism. Maybe it was Men in Black. I don't know. It was like this is
Oh yeah,
tourism.
it is, right? Like there's so much to do on Earth, man. But then circling back to the beginning of the podcast, not everyone gets to do this.
Yeah, that's
Like the
right.
people that are, it's like, we're like, yeah, that's true. We're lucky that we're in the West. We can do these things,
Mm-hmm.
and I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's why it's so important to like have gratitude. It sounds so stupid. Tara was like laughing at me because she was like, after we saw that like the White Lotus thing, I'm like, and that's why I like to appreciate life and approach it with gratitude. She's like, oh my God, but it's like it's true though. It's like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we have to have gratitude because like not everyone gets to do it, so you got to do it because they
Yeah, yeah.
couldn't do it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Or does it sound dumb? I don't know. Like, does it sound too preachy? I'm just like,
Well, it sounds like one of the characters that are there. Don't worry.
oh, really? Okay, it's gonna. Yeah, Wob said that I would like the season. He's like,
Oh yeah.
it's for you. I'm like, interesting. Okay, why? Okay, okay, but it's like, shouldn't you like appreciate it? Like, I don't know. There's just so much to do, and it's like we
Mm-hmm.
have the opportunity to do it, so why not do it?
There's a line in there, but it was like in the last episode. I don't know. I want to bring it up. It's a simple line, but
Oh, what is it? Yeah.
no, it's just like even how we're living now is better than the kings had it 200 years ago.
Facts. Facts. So true. So true. Yeah, now and into the future is the best time to be alive, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just gonna keep getting better. I really don't think even if we do have a totalitarian, like let's say, all right, man, it hits the fan, we have a totalitarian government, we're all locked in, you're still gonna find something fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if like I think that's at the heart of human beings. Like you see it in animals, and I saw this like one video of this dude who like ate the honey and he started going on a trip, and I'm like, yeah, all forms of consciousness want to entertain or expand its consciousness. Like you want to be like, oh, mind blown,
I mean, art doesn't
or
disappear. It's not like there's no art in China.
that's what I
There's
mean,
art
right?
all
Like
around
it's
the
like,
world. Yeah.
yeah, facts. It's like maybe that's just like the way the world will happen, but on a day-to-day basis, like we'll find something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like North Korea though. Like I don't know, that sounds too crazy to me.
Well, even in there, I think there's art there.
True. And that's like what you got to hold on to. I think that's like the spark of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
like art. Like, you know what I mean? There's something in us that's like why the aliens would want to come,
Mm-hmm.
or like why a
Yeah.
soul would want to be reincarnated. It's like there's something fun about reality,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Yeah. Anyways, any final thoughts?
Uh. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Reality's fun. The race is gonna start soon. That's why I'm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. See, you're locked in, bro. You're like everyone gonna all watch it, bro. We're all gonna, yeah. I mean, that's so cool that you can find something you like to do.
Right.
That might not be for everyone, but it's like you can find like
But
all right.
I think
Yeah.
that's what the internet has allowed to happen.
Okay,
That.
for sure. No, no. I think the internet's options, but you can if you're in the right state of because you can give the internet to anyone and they'll just be like, oh, I hate it. Nothing out there, everything's boring, everything sucks, right? But it's like I think it's a mind state because if you were even locked in that country and you're like, oh, I can't leave, I can't go on vacation, whatever, you'll still find something to do in that country. You just have to appreciate it. It's like whether it's like having
Mm-hmm.
beers with your friends or like singing songs. Like if you go to the Philippines, like people are like, oh, they're the most jovial race. It's like, yeah, because they've got nothing, bro. Like they have to drink and play music and like be lively, or else what's the point of living,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Like, yeah, yeah. I just think that the internet gives you options, but you're right. Like, there's more out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, is what it is. Uh, Till next time. Hope you enjoy your F1 race.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Last word go to you. Go.
I don't know. Life is interesting. Life is fun.
Well, what?
I just think
Life is
life
fun?
is yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is if we see it that
We're
way.
but we're
Yeah.
lucky to have that. Yeah.
You are correct. Yeah. Privileged. Privileged. You're right. You're
Sure.
right. All right. Till next week. Take it easy, Bish.
Later.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Bish.
Peace.